Being broke is a choice.
Tell me about that. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Doing Life with Intention podcast. I am here. Chrissy. Gerard's not here today. He is going to stay with the kids. Bless his heart. Because he helped make them, So I think it's only right, And he's good at that. So he's our dad. But today I have a dear friend. She is a woman who's good at what she does. Graced for what she does, dare I say.
Hallelujah.
Graced for what she does. And little do y'all know, she's been singing praise and worship this whole time. This entire time. I've been setting up cameras, setting up mics, singing. No, I ain't saying hymns. Hymns. We going back. Hymns. Negro spirituals. Spirituals, nonetheless.
Yes.
Right? She has been. So, she is an anointed woman of God, anointed in many ways, gifted in many ways. She's a mother. She is a wife. Or is that what's the order? See, because I got to think about that. Wait a minute. She is a woman. She's
woman.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. She's a wife, and she's a mother. I think that's the order.
That's it.
I feel like that's the God order. Mm-hmm. Right. And she's an entrepreneur, and a successful one. That's the kicker. You can be an entrepreneur, bless your heart. And bless your heart, that's fine. But to be a successful entrepreneur for several years, something to be said.
Jesus.
Something to be said about that.
Hallelujah.
And she teaches people how to steward their finances. Essentially, right? There's a lot of other things. But to keep it short, she teaches people how to steward their finances and shows them how to do that. And so I'm so excited to have her here with us today, Breanna Colon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Breanna.
Thank you for having me.
I believe, I appreciate you coming and taking some time. I know you busy, honey, with your business and things like that, and your family and life and,
all of that.
All of the things.
All of that. Yes.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How was the drive?
Yeah, that traffic. Yeah, about that. It wasn't terrible. It could have been worse.
Right. That's a way, like an optimistic way to think
That's
about
right.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
It could have been worse.
I got here safe and sound.
You
by
did.
the grace of God.
You see, y'all? You see? The thing about it is people don't know I will run. Like God is that good. I don't care. I'll run. Mm-hmm. So you got the right one today. You can carry on all you want. I'm going to carry on right with you.
I know that's right.
That's all right.
I know that's right.
So Breanna, you have a business that is called Integrity.
Yes, Integrity Financial Solutions Incorporated.
Come on. She ain't say LLC. She ain't say sole prop. She said
Inc.
Okay. Incorporated.
That's right.
Right? Tell me about that title. I love that title.
It's what I stand for.
Come on.
That you have to live a life of integrity.
Yeah.
And so that's what I stand for. And that's the way that I want our clients to feel when they're working with us.
Right.
That they're dealing with someone who has integrity that's going to look out for their best interest.
Right.
So that was very, very meaningful for me.
Right.
And so, of course, all the financial and all of that just kind of goes along with what we do. Obviously, we come up with financial solutions for people.
Right.
That's what we want to do.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Have integrity when you're dealing with my coin. Okay. Mm-hmm. Deal with my coin with integrity.
That's
Thank
right,
you.
because not everybody does.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean,
don't go to somebody who don't.
I hear the stories.
Yeah.
It's sad, but
yeah.
how people get taken advantage of. But I mean, that's why it helps if you're talking to more than one financial advisor, because if you never met with a financial advisor before, you don't really know what a good financial advisor is.
Right.
So if you have a conversation with more than one, then you can kind of get a feel for, okay, what do they offer? Are they all offering the same thing? What do I need in relation to what they offer? And do I feel comfortable with this person? Do I feel like they're going to look out for me and really take their time with me and explain things to me? Or am I just another number to them?
Right.
All of that.
So that's a good point, because like, you're right. Like, you don't know. I mean, I guess you don't know anything until you know. So when I say that, like you just mentioned, so when you're looking for a financial advisor, if it's something that's important to you, which it should be, It should be important to everyone, right?
Right.
What should you look for? Like first things, like if I'm saying, okay, let's do this, let's look for a financial advisor. What would be like the first couple things I would look for?
How long have they been in business? Well, it's really not even how long they've been in business. It's really how long have they been doing what they're doing.
Gotcha.
Because you can have a person that maybe it's a person that just decided to branch out on their own and just started their business 2 years ago, but maybe they've been a financial advisor for 20 years working under another company. So it's really about, it's helpful to know how many years of experience they have. However, the number of years of experience does not necessarily equate to them being the best person for you.
Okay.
So,
okay, good point.
You need if you've never had a financial advisor, you need a person that's going to take the time to answer all of your questions. And sometimes people have a lot of questions in the first conversation.
Of course.
Like this is your first interview and you're just trying to talk to them and say, well, how do you work? Do you work on fee-based? Do you work off of a commission? Is there what is your structure? You want to figure out, can you afford this person? There are some financial advisors who you got to have a certain amount of money for them to work with you.
Yeah.
A certain amount of money, assets, that they can manage for you.
Sure.
And sometimes that's their primary thing, is that they just manage money.
Sure.
And then you have others, like for us, we don't do assets under management and all that stuff. Our focus is personal finance.
Right.
So that's not every financial advisor's thing. So that's the first thing, is you want to be clear about what is the difference in the services that one company offers to another. What all do you do? And
what do you need now? Like you as a customer, as a person, like what do I need? And does that work well with what they're offering?
Right. Exactly.
So you got to know what you need.
Yes, you need to know what you need.
So you got to do it with intention.
That's right. Intention. That right there.
Did you hear what she said? Did you?
I do agree.
So we're in agreement.
We are.
With intention.
That's right.
Come on. See, that's all I need. That's all I need you to say. That's all I need you to say.
Yes, you got to be intentional. And sometimes you don't know what question, you don't know what you need sometimes.
Right.
There is that.
Right.
So,
right.
And some of that gets uncovered in the midst of conversation, which is, again, why it's good to have a conversation with more than one person. So, for example, if a client comes to me and I say, well, what are the top 3 to 5 things that are priority for you with your finances right now? And they say to me, well, I really want to just, I want to make sure that my retirement is on track. Well, there's a whole lot that goes into planning for retirement that they probably haven't thought. On a surface level, they're thinking, okay, I have this money. I just want to make sure that if I want to retire at 65, that I'm going to have enough money to live off of. Well, that backtracks to what you're doing today plays a role in what's going to happen by the time you're 65. So yes, we do need to analyze and see, well, how much money do you need to live off of at retirement time in relation to what you need to live off of today? And is the amount that you're contributing, is that going to get you the amount that you need at age 65?
To live, yeah.
But then we got to figure out, okay, if you're off track, well, what you're doing now, you're going to be behind by $1,000. You're going to be ahead, or whatever the case may be. There's some course correction that may need to happen.
Right.
But these are things that, the average person, they don't know to think that deep about, well, how can you help me with my budget? They're not thinking they need help with their budget.
Right.
They're thinking, I just want to be able to retire. But your budget affects your ability to retire. How you manage today is going to affect how you live tomorrow. All of that goes together. So that's what I mean by, people don't always know the questions to ask. They may just say on a surface level, I need help with retirement, or I need help with, I need to get on a better budget. That really says, I don't know how to manage my money well, so I need some help in that area. So a good financial advisor will really pay attention to what they're saying and ask questions to help them have a deeper understanding of what it is that they need, and then offer a solution. This is how we can fix and address these problems that you're saying you want to be better at.
Right. So you would say the baseline, I'm thinking from what you just said, or like the foundation of anybody that comes to you with any kind of problem, like I want to buy a house, or I want to, like you said, my retirement.
It could be I want to budget, buy a house. I want to save up for a car. I need something for my kids for college. It could be any number of goals. All of it is centered around how the money is being managed to be able to reach those goals and have a proper financial plan. Yes.
It's how you manage your finances.
That's right.
So let's get into that. Like, what is not a template, but like, how do you kind of figure that out for different people? Is it based on budget? Is it based on maybe lifestyle? Is it based on people in the home, like incomes? Is it based on, like, what do you base that on? Well,
first you need to lay out exactly what is what on paper. So whether that is physical paper or whether that is on an Excel spreadsheet.
I like paper.
I
do. I'm sorry, trees. I like paper. I do.
Well, that is the most simplistic form.
Yeah.
I mean, we can eliminate the excuses and just say, okay, some people say, well, I don't have an Excel spreadsheet. Do you have a piece of paper?
Right.
You can start there. And it's really just writing out, okay, this is how much I take home, whether that's every 2 weeks, once a month, twice a month, whatever the pay cycle is. How much are you taking home, and what bills do you have to pay, and when are they due? So first you need to figure that part out, because you need to know if the goal is, I want to be able to pay off debt, I want to save for a house or whatever. Well, you need to know how much you have available to save,
right.
or how much do I have available to put down towards the debt, or
right.
whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. So what is my disposable income? So after you've written all of the bills, well, now you also have to figure out, okay, I need to have a set amount for groceries. It can't be, well, I have $800 left in the account, so I'm going to just go to the store. No, ma'am, no, sir.
That's it.
I'm going to need you to have a budgeted amount.
That part. And you know what's hard about that? It requires discipline.
That word right there.
That word. It does. It's like, okay, like let's say I have $800 left this month, right? Well, I'm going to go get me some, whatever. And I'm going to go hungry.
Right.
Like, why do that?
Right.
But like you said, budget however much, okay, this is allotted for grocery, and then go for that.
Right. You cannot just go to the store willy-nilly and don't go to the store hungry.
Don't go hungry.
All of that. Like, there's always going to be a sale because, sometimes a client may come back and be like, well, they were having a sale. No, they're always having a sale.
There's always a sale.
There's always a sale. So that is not the excuse. So you have to set a budget. But even before then, even with just setting the budget, you still have to be intentional about what you're going to the store for. Because otherwise, you're just going picking up stuff if you didn't already take inventory to see what do you already have that you can work with at home.
That's so true.
Can you plan your meals?
That's so true.
How many times are you going to cook this week?
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Figure that out. It's not that difficult, but yes, it does take a little bit of discipline.
Yeah.
But the question at the end of the day is, when you're struggling in that area of discipline, well, how bad do you want the thing that you say you want? How bad do you want to buy another house?
Right.
Is that more important than you overspending on your groceries?
Come on.
See?
Now, see, don't nobody want to hear that. Me included. But no, that's a real thing, though.
It is. Eating out, all of that.
Wait a minute, Breanna. Now, you ain't had to get all in my business. So you could just,
Uber Eats.
What you said, DoorDash don't count, right?
DoorDash.
That is included.
They dashing food to the door and just all deep in your pockets.
I feel like COVID did that to us.
Okay, COVID may have been partially responsible.
It was.
But Tamara, ultimately we are responsible.
That part. No, that's so real.
Some people got spoiled. That is hashtag facts.
Yeah,
but,
it is. It is.
But we still have to rise above. COVID is still alive and well. We can't allow that to be the excuse.
Right.
To hold us back from, I want to buy a car next year, but I need to put money down. But, I keep eating out a lot and I keep going to Starbucks every day.
Oh, don't unsubscribe from my podcast because we talking about Starbucks. Because people get real vexed about Starbucks.
You're right.
It's a real thing when people in Starbucks. I'm not saying
that there's anything wrong with going to Starbucks if it's in your budget, okay? It just can't be the priority if you're saying that, we're talking about what people have said that they want to be able to accomplish.
Yes.
And I'm just saying, is that more important than your need for coffee every morning, 5 days a week? Could you get some Folgers and bring it home and make some? Could you make some at home? That's all I'm trying to say. Go once a week instead of 5 days a week.
That's a good point.
Right. There's you're compromising with yourself
because
you have bigger goals that you are saying are more important. That's all.
Yeah. So let's go back to the budgeting.
Okay.
Because I think that's so important. I think we would all be surprised at how budgeting isn't a thing. I grew up in a household where finances were really important, and stewarding finances was really important, and living below your means was very important. So it was kind of like ingrained. And while I'm not the perfect person in finances by any means, I think, when it's taught and you're you grow up with it, it's a little bit like, oh, okay, this is how this works, right?
Right.
There's a budget. Of course there is. There's, you go into the grocery, there's an allotted amount of money that you use.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy Starbucks. I'm going to buy Starbucks at home and make it in my Keurig, right? But a lot of people don't really have a budget.
Right.
Or use a budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
And understanding that that's kind of the foundation of getting to your financial goals, if you have certain ones, like you said,
Right.
buying a car, whatever the case is, it starts there.
Yeah.
And kind of knowing where your money is going.
Right. Exactly.
The money that you have, where is it going? Like I did this not too long ago, a couple months ago, and I kind of got off with certain things, and I was out eating out a lot. And I was getting stuff for the kids, and I don't have time. I just left this shoot. I don't have time. I got to get this done.
Yeah.
And my husband and I went back, Gerard and I went back and looked at finances for like the month before, and he was like, we spend too much on eating out. Like that. But if you don't go back and look at
That's
that,
right. Yeah.
you don't realize how much you spend eating out.
It doesn't feel like you spent that
It doesn't.
much. It was just $20. It was just $15. It was just $30. It was, and before you know it, it's $700. What? Huh? I spent $700. How we spend $700 eating out? What the world?
That part. And now we have Apple Pay. So it's like, ding.
Right.
You don't have to have your card. You don't, it's
Yeah.
okay. You forgot your card. Pull your Apple Pay out. Like they make it so easy for us to. And then if you are intentional and you go back and you look at what you spent for that month, you'd be surprised. But it starts with that budget.
Right. Right.
It starts with that budget.
Yeah. You got to look at it. And some people, they don't like to face that.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's difficult, but it's necessary. And if it means that you're going to be better for it,
Yeah.
would you want to?
Absolutely.
Would you then change your mind and say, you know what? Maybe she's right. Maybe I do need a budget because I really do want to buy a car next year, and I don't want them to tell me, I might be able to get approved. I want to go in there with certainty and confidence that I am going to get approved and
Right.
that I have the money I need to put down because
Right.
I planned in my budget.
That part.
Yeah,
That part. You planned. Planning is intentional.
it is. Intentional.
I'm just saying. You're giving good stuff, right?
Thank you.
You've been doing this for a long time. How long have you been doing that? I know you went to school for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like you studied in
I
undergrad.
started the company 10 years ago,
Oh boy.
and I've been in the industry since 2003.
Wow.
In the financial industry. I was an accountant before that. So I was still in the accounting, still in the money arena.
Yeah, the money arena. Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but I just, shifted over. But
Wow.
that's what I have my degree in management accounting. So I was, accounting for dollars for businesses, but that wasn't it. I wanted to, that wasn't the area that God would have me to land, if you will. So that wasn't my passion area. And so then eventually I shifted over to the finance. And once I realized, I think everybody goes through this finding yourself phase where you're trying to figure out what lane am I supposed to be in?
Yeah.
I know I like numbers. I know I like, this or that, but I'm a people person. And I mean, it has been the absolute best transition. It's so rewarding to be able to see the look on people's faces in the beginning when you give them hope that their situation is not as bad as they think it is.
Yeah, that part.
But then also as they're going through the journey and they see the progress they're making and
Yeah.
they're so excited that, hey, I used to have $0 in my savings account. Now I have $7,000 and it hasn't even been a year. Whoa, come on, Jesus.
But you see, when you didn't have it before, you weren't being mindful about how you were and where you were, placing things. Now it's like, look what I can do.
Yes.
Look what we did.
Yes. It's exciting to
Yeah.
watch people get excited
Yeah.
about what's possible.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It doesn't feel out of reach. Like, I guess, you
right.
make it seem more like attainable.
Yes. 'Cause
Yeah.
people, and that's a good point because a
Yeah.
lot of times when you ask somebody, well, okay, what are your goals? Like short term, long term, what do you want to be able to do? Sometimes people really hesitate because they feel like it's so far out there that I just don't even want to mention it.
Like, I could
because
never.
She's going to think I'm crazy if I say that, I really want to own 2 or 3 properties,
Yeah.
but I don't even own one yet. You know what I mean? So
Right.
sometimes they're afraid to voice that,
Right.
to say, and I'm like, no, I want to know whatever that goal is, because or some retirement. That's another good one where people will say, they'll say, well, I really would want to retire at 60, but I know that's not possible. So hold up, excuse me, ma'am, it is possible if you want it to be with the right plan. If you follow the plan, anything is possible. So
I love
yes,
that.
I do give them hope and inspiration because I need them to know just because you don't see it right now doesn't mean that it's not possible.
Right.
We can make that happen, okay?
Right.
Just like having your house paid off by the time you retire.
Come on. Now see, I'm excited. You done got me excited because I'm paying off my house.
I know that's right.
I'm going to pay that thing off. Y'all ain't going to see me, and that's okay. Y'all going to see me in this podcast, but y'all ain't going to see me because I'm going to be paying off that house. I don't
Right.
care. I'm paying that thing off.
We've
Yeah.
had older people that I have a couple that I'm working with. They're in their early 60s, and they had, at the time that I met with them, I think they had about 18 years maybe left on their mortgage, something like that. We've only been working together like a year and a half, but can I tell you that in 6 years from now, their house will be paid off? Okay? Yeah, paid off.
Stop.
They started with $0 in savings. They're at about $18,000 now, and they have paid off a boatload of debt. And so now that we've freed up that money, now we're going to take that money and redirect it towards the mortgage. And so what they thought was an impossible situation in their 60s, okay?
I love that.
They will be retired and with no mortgage and no debt, period.
Wow.
Like, what? You couldn't have told them that 5 years ago.
Right.
But it's the same money.
Right.
It's not like they went and got another job. We're talking about the same money. It's just a different mindset.
Wait a minute. You're saying, in that specific situation, I know there are different situations.
Right, sure.
But in that specific situation, it wasn't even that they had to bring more income in to meet these goals.
That's right.
They just had to be mindful of what they were doing with what they had.
Yep. It was all about using what they had and redirecting it in a different way. We went through and cut, some expenses to look for ways to free up money, worked on some other strategies, but more importantly, it's the mindset, because you asked earlier about, differences of things between one financial advisor to another. Mm-hmm. For us personally, it's more than just the numbers, because you can give somebody a budget and say, okay, here's some new numbers for you. Put this, if you follow this, you'll be good.
Yeah.
And send them on their merry little way.
Bless their heart,
no,
right.
This is a lifestyle change. Our
Right.
process is a holistic approach, because we want people to have a permanent lifestyle change. This is the reason why people file for bankruptcy and then file for bankruptcy again, because they never got to the root issue of what has caused them to be where they are. Why are they not where they're supposed to be financially? Because they never addressed the root issues. So we want to get to the root issues on wherever people have started, why they aren't where they feel they should be financially. Well, let's dig into that and ask the right questions and get an understanding of what was your upbringing with money, and how were things, how do you make your financial decisions? When you bought your last car, did you put any money down? Just asking a lot of questions to really get to understand their money behavior.
Right.
So then we not only implement strategies for how to change the money around on the numbers, but also how to have them shift their mindset.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So when you put all of that together, then if I can change your mindset, then the money part will be easy. It'll be easier, I should say.
Sure. Right. No, because the two are in tandem.
Absolutely.
They're working together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So all of that is, is important. So now, people what I find is that as their money gets freed up and they start having a larger and larger savings, now they have a new problem. Their new problem is, now I have all this money, and I'm like, they start to get stingy with it. Like if they have to, before, when you swipe with a credit card and something costs, it's $3,000 to fix the air conditioning unit. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna put it on the card. Easy, swipe. But if that $3,000 got to come out of your savings account that you've been saving, even mind you, this is what it's for.
That's what it's for.
People get stingy. They're like, I got to pull this out of my,
Yeah.
because it's your hard-earned cash.
Yeah.
But it's a different space and place.
Right.
They got to make different decisions now. Now we have a $4,000 a month surplus in cash. Like, we can actually do some things now.
That's so exciting.
So yeah, it's fun. I'm just really grateful to God for the opportunity that, I don't take it lightly when people trust me with their finances, because it's serious business.
That part.
And we get a wide range of people, from people that are doing fine and they just want to make sure, like, is there anything else I need to be doing? All the way down to people that come in the door with more bills than they have money. And you're like, okay, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Seek him first.
Can't you help me?
He can.
He does. And he does.
Yes, he does.
Somehow we figure it out. And, we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave these people hanging. Let's figure it out.
Right. So you mentioned that you had like a almost retired couple, if you will. And you have a wide range of clients. You have 3 sons, right? You and your husband. And I'm sure that finances has come up as you guys were, raising them, or still are raising them, rather. And so I wonder what that looks like. I know I have 2 kids.
Yes.
My son, he's 1, and my daughter, she's 4. And I don't feel like it's too early to have money conversations with them. As far as, just helping them understand the value of a dollar, helping them understand that, it's not something that just kind of grows on trees and goes. Like, it's something that you have to be mindful of. Okay, if you want that, then what does that mean over here? If so how did you guys together, and then especially you, because you've had like a decade plus of financial experience, go about that with your sons?
Well, it's interesting because each child is different. So you cannot necessarily assume that what you implement with one child is going to go the exact same way with all three.
Oh boy.
It just doesn't work that way.
Oh boy.
You know, some would be receptive. You know, I had them writing a budget, you know, if they just got an allowance or, you know, birthday money or whatever, you know, you still got to plan for that money because I want you to get in the habit of I have to plan for my money. And let's take the intimidation out of the word budget because really budget is, consider it just a planning tool. What do I plan to do with my money? You know what I mean? Sometimes people look at it as such an ugly word. But anyway, so they are inconsistent, believe it or not. You know, that's just what happens because you'll have one child that is following, that like sticks to everything that I say do. And then you have the others that know what you said and they follow sometimes. Sometimes. So I'm doing a little more hand holding.
Okay.
Because
so some of you may have to do some hand holding. Yeah, right.
You have to do a little bit of hand holding because I want them to get it and I want them to, you know, have it stick. And so now that they're older, you know, they are 18, 22, and 25. You know, I know I only look 30, but
listen, black don't crack if I ain't know. I just want y'all to know.
You know, but now it's more advisory role, you know, but I'm still talking to them about, you know, they'll still come to me about, hey, I'm trying to figure out this or that. And so the lessons just become a little bit different now that they're adult. You're kind of, you know, advising them differently. But for younger children, you know, as far as opportunities, I absolutely agree with you that starting with them young is best. So it can even be like when you go into the grocery store, for example, just involving them. And depending on the age, it could be like for your 1-year-old, just allowing him to even pay with the money. You know, just something simple like that because he's already seeing that when I go to the store, I have to have some money and I have to pay. You know, he might not be able to voice that, but he understands.
You can see the concept of it, right?
He absolutely will understand
That's good. I like that.
And, you know, like for your daughter, maybe it's allowing her to calculate as she's learning numbers and that type of thing. If she's holding a calculator and, you know, we can't spend more than $200 today, you know, and she's allowed to, this was $1.19. Okay. 1.19. Now your trip might be a little bit longer. You might want to do that on the short trips.
A lot of time for it. That part.
Yeah. That right there.
But I think it's worth it. Even if you don't do it every single time.
Right.
I think, again, it's still putting that thought in their heads. Like, hey, like you said with even my son, like the concept of when you go into a store, you have to have money. And you'll come out with something, but you won't have that money. It's going to be gone, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, things like that. And as they get a little bit older and they can understand things a little more, you'll find that if you tell them that the budget was $200 in this example, you know, they're going to help keep you in check. You know, maybe you went over, it's a few little things. Mommy, no, the budget was $200. That says it's $225.
You know, maybe we should wait a little bit longer to do that.
Right.
Let's just wait a little bit longer.
Exactly. So you're going to be at the register like, shush. Or, you know, or you're going to start putting stuff back because you're trying to teach a lesson.
That's right.
You know, and it's helpful to you too because kids will keep you accountable.
They will. And they learn by watching you.
Right.
They don't always do what you say, but they watch what you do.
And they're going to learn whether you're teaching them or not. So that can be good or bad. You know what I mean? So why not be intentional?
That part.
And teach them so that they can actually learn. Because if you don't, what you're teaching them, you know, I hear people say, well, this is the way I do it because my mom has always done it this way. My dad has always done it this way. And it's not because mom and dad taught them how to do that. It was caught. So they learned by watching.
By watching, yeah.
So why not give them something good to watch, something positive?
That's right.
You know, as it pertains to the money. So you could do it at the restaurant too.
Yeah.
You know, letting them
That's a good
see
one.
the bill.
Yeah.
You know, we have to pay. You see it says, you know, help them understand the tip.
Sure.
Now that's something a little bit older than your kids.
Right.
But once you get into
just the
teen years,
yeah,
helping them to understand like, okay, well, how did you think they did with the service? Did you think they did a good job? And just having that discussion to figure out, well, what's the basis of me giving a 10% tip or 15%, 18%, whatever the amount is, you know, how are we getting to that? Helping them to understand those things matters. Going to the barbershop, you know, let your son pay for the haircut, dads, you know, or mom. You know, you're going and letting them understand that, your hair costs $35 to get done today, you know, and let them pay for it so they understand, especially when they get older, because girls can be expensive.
Honey.
Mommy, I want some braids. Mommy, I want some whatever, whatever type of style
She
they want.
gonna catch these braids by Chrissy Renee.
Now, I was about to say, you're at an advantage because you are a hairstylist.
That's what
but,
she gonna catch.
Not every mom is blessed in that way. We coming to pay you to get it done.
Correct.
So,
Mondays, y'all, I still do hair on Mondays.
I know that's right. So kids should be able to learn. Now, as for the teenagers, the ones that are in high school, you need to give them opportunities. That's preparing for adulthood. I told each of my children as they entered high school, you're in your 4 years to adulthood, so it's time to start learning things pertaining to that. Meaning, for me, my kids need to learn how to do everything. So, meaning you need to learn how to run a whole house because you don't know when you're going to get married, and I don't want you dependent on a woman.
I love that.
Just because you're a guy doesn't mean that you don't need to learn how to do the laundry, how to wash the dishes, learn how to...
keep house, yeah.
Yes, learn how to keep house.
Yeah.
But it's also letting them have the responsibility of filling out forms,
Right.
like when it comes to school. We as moms are quick to, let me just take care of this because we're the take care of people. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We're the nurturers. But we are robbing them of an opportunity to grow up if we don't allow them to fill out forms. It's just part of responsibility. Or even it raises their awareness. If they have to pay for an activity, I got to pay for soccer, I got to pay for whatever.
Right.
It's raising their awareness that money's not growing on trees.
Right.
Like, oh, wow, mom had to pay $50 for me to participate in the field trip, stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that. And everything costs money.
Everything costs money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's true. It's true. So,
Yeah.
do you and your husband, what does your husband do?
He's an engineer.
Okay.
Video tech engineer.
So cool.
And a soccer coach. I have to slide that in.
Football.
Because that's his passion is soccer coaching. So I have to slide that in there.
Anytime I've seen your husband, it's always he's had some football gear on and the soccer it's on. And I'm just like, oh, y'all not playing. Y'all just in here.
He is about the business on that.
Yeah. So, hey, do your thing, Keep you young. So.
Absolutely.
So do you guys kind of, that's a totally different, I guess, kind of, place to work or, working environment. So how does that work when you guys were doing that together with, your sons and teaching them? Did he kind of just let you do it, or was he like, well, let's,
Are we talking about teaching them on the soccer, teaching them on the, teaching them on what?
Brianna, you play soccer?
A little bit.
Oh, now you see, I didn't even know that. Now, y'all, let me tell you something though. I did tell y'all that she was multi-talented, right? Right? So, like I said, she was in here singing. She can cut a tune now. You can play the piano. Do you play several instruments?
No.
Okay.
Just the piano.
Well, just the piano, that's 10 fingers. And there's mad keys on that
right,
thing. So,
right.
You play the piano. She teaches you how to deal with your finances and steward your finances.
Yeah.
Girl, you do it all. And you play soccer.
No, only a little bit. No, I can't take much credit for that.
Let me tell you something.
My husband calls me Athletica.
What? Look,
that's like the running joke.
That's all right. Well, because all of them know how to play it 100%. I
mean, exactly. I'm doing good to kick the ball.
That part. Look, I'm doing good to kick it. So you doing better than me. So no, but with the finances part, where you guys kind of
were we working together on teaching them about the finances? Gotcha. Not really.
Okay.
I mean, we work together on the finances as far as our own finances, yes. Yeah. But as far as teaching the kids, that was mostly me.
Mostly you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's your thing.
My thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So then how about that, though? How about finances with marriage and finances?
Girl. Some people ain't going to want to hear about
this. I know. It's such a thing, right?
It is a thing. Well, the thing is, the Bible says the two shall become one.
What does it say, Breanna?
The two shall become one.
That's what it say.
Not one.
That's what it
say.
Key
word there. One means one with everything.
That's what it say.
Now, we good with one house. We can share one house. Sometimes we good with one car. Sometimes, And we can share one master bedroom and one bathroom and all of that. But when we get to the money,
My God, on today.
Somehow, the money, you get married, but the money stays single.
I ain't going to have no followers left. That's all right.
Y'all know I'm speaking
That's
the truth.
All right, because it's the truth.
It's real talk. You know what I mean?
It's the truth.
And there's a lot of reasons that happens. Sometimes it's because couples, a lot of couples today will start out living together. And when they start out living together before they get married, it's more of a roommate situation.
True.
They're doing things separate. So then they get married and then they don't change the whole
separate
thing.
situation.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. True.
And some of it is just lack of control. I don't want the struggle of worrying about control. I don't want him checking me, telling me, where I can spend my money, or if I can shop, or if I can buy a wig, or if I can this or that.
Not buy a wig, Breanna.
Yeah, you'd be surprised all the stuff I hear.
Oh, God.
And sometimes it's the other way around, where the guy don't want the woman to be, checking
His
him.
stuff, right?
His stuff. But it doesn't have to be that way. You have to learn how to work together on the finances. Opposites attract for a reason. Most of the time, when couples get married, one person is generally stronger at the finances than the other. And if they learn how to work together with each other's strengths and weaknesses, putting that together, it creates balance. And it can be a beautiful thing. You can accomplish so much more together than you can apart. That's the biggest challenge I see with a lot of the married couples that we have. Some of them come in and they are already working together, but then you have some that have deep-seated issues that have prohibited them over the years. So it's hard to let go of some of that immediately.
Sure.
If I say, hey, are you willing to try to put the money together if I show you how to do it? Sometimes people are like, yes, and it's worked and it's been great. And then I have others that take a little bit longer on that. They're like, no, I need to see that this person is going to follow and do what you say do first before I go putting my money with that person's money.
Oh my gosh. But
we get a little selfish.
Yeah, and it also could be, like you said, some deep rooted
stuff.
It has to be for it to
is.
still be, an issue, I guess, of sorts. So
yeah. And that goes back to what I said earlier about understanding money behaviors.
Yeah.
And what all has transpired over the course of the marriage that has caused you to be this way. So, there's something wrong with if one spouse has 800 credit and the other one has 500 credit.
Oh, that's a good point.
How are you okay with that?
How does that work?
Right. Why is that okay? Like, you're going to be affected, or if this person's saving for retirement, but this person's spending all their money, they're not saving. Don't think you're not going to be impacted when you retire.
Facts.
It's going to happen.
Facts.
So it's crazy, that people think that this is, they don't fully understand how much further, why wouldn't you want the best for your spouse?
Yeah.
If I win, we win.
That part.
If I got $5,000 in, we got $5,000 in. That's what we got.
That's it. Because that's our money.
Right. It's our money. It's not I got paid Friday. No, we got $3,000 today.
That's it.
Hey, we just got a check for $8,000.
That's
whatever it is.
That's it.
So now we're winning together. We are one, aren't we? That means we win together.
That's so good, Breanna.
Thank you.
That's, I feel like, a marriage conversation. Like,
it is. That's a whole.
And this ain't a marriage podcast.
I know.
But, I think that is like such a marriage conversation of really honoring what it means to be married.
Yeah.
If you are a Christ follower, if you believe in Jesus,
yes.
Like if you don't, do your thing.
Right. Exactly.
I would love you to, please. Jesus he's the way.
That's right.
Truth and the light.
That's right.
I promise you ain't gonna regret it.
That's right.
But if you are a Christ follower, it is like you said, leave and cleave. Like, it is we are one.
If you want to do work in God's best for you, it's possible and it can be done. Now we do have couples that we just have to work with them separately. Sometimes we get the wife to come and say, hey, just let me work on me for right now. Yeah. That's fine. And we do that. We deal with people where they are.
Sure.
And then we kind of work towards, let's baby step this thing if that's what we got to do,
Baby steps. See, you done said something. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was raised, and I still believe, heavily in the thought of, like, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. I don't like that.
That's good.
At all.
Become allergic.
Honey, it make me itch. I get nervous. Like, why are you still talking to me about it? I don't want it.
Right.
So recently, I say in the last year, my husband and I purchased the vehicle because we had my son and our son, excuse me. And, right.
Like how you did that.
It's his too. It's ours. We're one.
Right. That's right.
And we got a truck, something a little bigger and for the business and all the things.
Right.
And we were thinking about whether we were going to finance it or buy it. Mm-hmm. And I was so uncomfortable with the idea of financing a vehicle. I always bought cars outright in cash because that's how I was taught to do it.
Right.
And so I wonder, because when I talk about that, sometimes if I'm talking to somebody about finances, if it comes up in conversation, I always talk about the idea that I'm just not super into debt at all. Mm-hmm. The idea of a house, of course, like God willing, I would love to pay for a house in cash.
We receive, Lord.
Come on,
we receive.
And I'm not saying it can't be done because it can. He can do all things. Come,
okay,
correct. Come, because I will run around this whole place. And I can do all. He can do all things.
Ask.
That's what. And you shall
receive. Come on here. open.
Unto
Hallelujah.
you. Come on.
Come on
And I'm going to be
here.
right there when it's
Amen.
open.
Amen.
Shoot. But with that being said, you know, and I do feel like now that I've looked into it, you know, from being a child and being kind of raised with that thought process, and then being an adult and kind of looking into like where that thought process comes from, I do believe it's biblical. Like it talks about being a lender and not a borrower.
Right,
like that's biblical. That's a biblical principle, I believe.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know you do finances and you work heavily in that. How do you work with debt with your clients?
Our goal is for them not to have any debt. That really is the goal. And you'll get varying opinions depending on, again, what financial advisor you talk to that may have a difference of opinion. Or you have people that say, well, I don't know if I want to pay off my primary residence because I'm worried about the interest. I need a write-off. And okay, do
they
you
love
even
that,
know,
honey.
Right, do you even know how much the write-off is going to be?
They love
How about
that.
How about find out how much the write-off is and compare that to how much interest you're giving the bank in a year? Let's try that. If we do those calculations, that's going to give you your answer right there.
That's
do
good.
you want to pay off this house?
That's
because
good.
you're paying almost double for the house when you finance it for 30 years. And that's not even counting the times that people refinance.
Facts.
That's a whole nother story right there.
Facts.
So if the house is $300,000, you're going to pay at least $500,000 for that house if you finance it over that 30-year period.
Absolutely.
So it is good for you to pay it off. There are other ways to be able to have a write-off. You know, talk to a good tax person can educate you on that, on how to have a tax write-off. So yeah, you definitely should. I'm definitely of the mindset. That's where we are. Like I told you, with the lady, with the couple in their 60s, you know, like it's a game changer when you don't have that $2,800 mortgage, that $3,500 mortgage. What else could you be doing with that money? I could be on somebody's island. I could be building wealth. I could be doing a number of things. Honey. So yeah, no.
Somebody told me the grass feel different on a house with a lawn that's paid for. They said it feel different. I'm gonna let you know.
I like it.
I'm gonna let you know.
I like it.
You know.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it feels different. I bet it does. I have a friend who we were talking about student loan debt. And that was when I just got married, and my husband and I, we tackled that thing. That was like one of the first things we did.
That's awesome.
And we did it together. Like his debt was my debt because we were married.
Oh, that right there.
Ooh, did I say something?
Girl.
Did I say something?
Ooh, you said something right there now.
It was.
The attitudes that come along with, and I know this is not a marriage podcast, but I'm just side noting to say that the attitudes sometimes that come along with marrying someone and understanding that whatever came with them is a part of the marriage.
My
you
God.
know, if they came with debt, if they came with children, whatever they came with, all of that is now y'all's.
That's it.
Y'all's.
That's it.
Okay? It's the two of y'all's. But not enough people understand that. So I'm applauding you for what you just said of, you know, it was our debt.
It was our debt.
His student loan debt, but it was our debt because, you know, it's what he learned in school, you're going to benefit from.
That part.
Hello.
That part.
So
I have a friend, and she excelled in school. So she was in school for like 15 years. And she has her doctorate, you know, like she really was into education. And she accumulated a lot of student debt. So I was talking to her about how Gerard and I, you know, were getting our debt done, and, you know, I had a little bit of student debt and Gerard had some student loan debt, and we were just getting that knocked out. Yeah. So she was telling me, well, I paid off everything else. I paid off all of my consumer debt. And I was like, okay, you working on your student loan debt now? And she was like, oh, girl, I have so much student loan debt. I'll never get that paid off. And I was like, what you mean? And she was like, I have this and my undergrad, and I want to get my undergrad and my master's and my doctor. I mean, she's, you know, and I was like, you can if you want to. But I think back to that, what we said earlier is if you don't have like a plan and see that it's attainable,
right.
It's something that you can do. You can grasp it. It can be a reality.
Absolutely.
But you need to plan.
That's right.
The Bible talks about write a vision, make it plain,
That's
you know?
right.
So like going to a financial advisor, you know, or even just sitting down and looking at a budget and just taking a moment and look to see where your money is going. Just taking that moment to be intentional about where your money is going. In and out alone is helpful, you know?
Right.
So
Student loans do not have to be a life sentence.
Yes.
So many people feel like they are because they have, you know, 100,000, 200,000 and that kind of thing. But I would hope that you're going into it with the right intention that, I'm going to get these student loans so I can get ahead and that type of thing. But you also have to have a plan for how are you going to pay it back.
Yeah.
And in some people's cases, I'm sure they're probably buying time because there are student loan forgiveness programs, where they can, pay for 10 years and then be able to write off some. But do you really want to carry that even for 10 years?
Hello.
If you don't have to.
Right.
Like, now there is the other side of the coin where you can create wealth and then let your money accumulate and grow. And then that way you use a portion of the money that you built to then go back and pay off the student loan. And then you still have money left over.
So what is that kind of?
That's a strategy too.
Okay.
Where you can, if she owed, as an example, $100,000.
Okay.
And, maybe she's paying, I don't know, that's probably at least $1,000 a month, probably. But instead of paying, $2,000 and $3,000 on there, she could actually invest the extra money and allow that to grow interest over time, as long as her interest rate on the student loan is not ridiculous. So if she's got a low student loan rate, let's say it's 3 or 4%, but maybe her money over here is growing at a 7 or 8% or higher. Well, now she's going to double her money faster. So if she does it that way and allow that money to accumulate, now she can take a portion of that money that she's built and now go pay off the student loan, and she's still got money left over, as opposed to her just taking her extra money and paying off the student loan. Now you got the student loan paid off, but you have nothing else left to show for it when you could actually tackle both at the same time,
Honey, look, I don't want nothing. It's like on my back. Like, get off. Like, I don't want it. I don't even want bills. Like, can I, like my insurance? What is the 6-month option? I don't want the monthly.
Right.
Just pay it.
Right.
Be done. Mm-hmm. I don't want it. I'm itching. I
love
can't
it.
take
I love
that.
it.
I can't take it.
And some companies give a discount if you're paying.
They do,
for the
subscriptions.
year or for 6 months or whatever. So
yes, if you look at subscriptions, a lot of times there's a discount when you pay for the year or for the 6 month.
Yeah,
it's a discount.
Yeah,
so pay for the 6 months. If you got it, pay for the 6 months.
Right,
save the money. You don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. It's not an expense that you have to do monthly.
That's right.
Absolutely, you could be done.
Absolutely, be done. I like that mentality. Be done. Be done. People carry debt for years and years and years and years, whether they're single or married, carrying debt. And a lot of people come into the marriage with debt. Right. And, like I was saying earlier, sometimes they act like it's not their responsibility if their spouse came into the marriage with debt. That's their problem.
You got a tiff with this thought process.
I do. I am pro-marriage, advocate, togetherness,
I'm here for
oneness, all of that. And I know this is, I'm talking about doing life with intention when it comes to your finances and being one. It goes back to, if you're going to be one all the way. We're not saying that you got to go and combine all your credit and all this other stuff, but I am saying that if you're doing your budget together, if you were doing well as one spouse and you've got an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month left over out of your check, and maybe your spouse is not money savvy like that, and maybe they only have $800 left in their check, but they're the ones carrying all the debt. Yeah, y'all are going to have to put your money together for the benefit of the group. Yeah. Again, if my spouse wins, I win. If I win, my spouse wins. We win together. So if we can learn how to, let's help my spouse to fix whatever the issues are that are causing the money not to be right on his or her side. Right. And let's figure out how to get rid of this debt together. Let's do that. Let's.
Y'all better not tell Breanna you ain't paying. Y'all debt together. If you married, you better be like, yes, it's all ours. All of the money goes together.
I'm really not like that in the client session. I'm actually not. But, it was interesting because the comment I get the most is that people thank me for not being judgmental with them in the session.
Be, right? And you see so much, too.
Right.
It's
this
probably
is like a collection of things that I've seen over the years, just how some of us are and how stubborn we can be in some of those areas. But I'm just telling you, if you learn how to work together, do it God's way. God's way is the best way.
As long as you know that.
That's it. There is no other option. God's way. I mean, why would you not want the better option? If I know that this is going to get me into a better place, why don't I want that? Right. For me and for my spouse. Right. I don't want my spouse struggling. Right. I don't want my husband struggling. I would hope that he doesn't want me to be struggling. Right. Or if I'm single, I don't want to be struggling. Right. It's not. People don't understand that being broke is a choice.
Tell me about that.
I mean, we all have a choice. God has given us free will. He's also given us all gifts and talents and all that. And sometimes we just don't see it. Sometimes we have blinders on. Sometimes we can't see what we can't see. And that's why he places people and things in our path to help us to get on a better track. But the bottom line is sometimes people will be in this situation and they feel like the reason they're in the situation, if I had a better job, I'd be doing better financially. If I had a better car than this, they always come up with all these other excuses when really a lot of the reason is because they're not managing with what they have. If you can't manage well at this level, then how's God going to bless you at this level way up here? You're not going to be ready for it. So if you are broke, this is the reason why people can be at $30,000 and be broke. People can be at 100 and then make 100,000 and still be broke.
My God.
So I'm saying it's all about the mindset.
Yeah.
When I say that they have a choice, that if you fix your mindset, then your actions are going to follow.
Right.
And those actions will lead you to the thing that will allow you to get out of this broke space, and into a better place. Because God didn't intend for us to just be broke. That is not God's best.
Right.
God wants the best for his children. He's a real good
He
father.
said we are a royal priesthood.
Come on.
Not a broke one.
And being broke is not a part of that.
No, it ain't.
That doesn't go into the equation.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's
a choice. I like that.
It is a choice.
It's a choice.
When I made a choice that I wanted to be able to travel more frequently because I work hard.
Yeah.
I understood that meant I had to change some things in how we were doing things.
Right.
And my husband was on board with that vision. So he was like, yes, let's.
And that's a big part. Y'all were on the same page.
That's right.
You're a team.
Yes, we were like, let's.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen overnight, and that was not always the case. And we were broke at one point in time too. It was a choice that we made every day when we decided to spend money on this or that because, we didn't feel like cooking and we didn't manage our money and we didn't, whatever the case was. So, it's a choice. That's really the bottom line. It doesn't have to. I'm really saying that to push people to understand that where you are, if you don't feel like you're where you should be, it doesn't have to stay that way. It really doesn't. Get some help.
That's good. Mm-hmm. And I love that too. It doesn't have to be that I have to have this car or this job, or I have to have more to steward what I have now.
Right.
Just steward what you have now.
Yeah. Be
grateful, have gratitude for what you have now.
That's right.
And work with that.
That's right. And I'll tell you, I have seen on multiple occasions where people will come in, start working with us, and they're not where they should be financially when they start, but then they start implementing the strategies, doing things better. Some people start tithing and all kinds of stuff.
Ooh,
and
you said a
all
cuss
of a
word.
sudden, all of a sudden, amazing things start happening. They start receiving blessings. And I'm not saying it's because of me. I'm saying it's their obedience to now being better stewards, that now God can bless you with that thing that you've been praying for because now you can handle it because you're managing your money better. You made the choice.
Obedience is better than sacrifice. Mm-hmm.
They're being intentional.
Oh. Yo, she said that time, not me.
Yes, they are doing life with intention. Amen.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yes.
I love that. I want to have you back. Don't y'all want to have her back?
Okay.
I feel like I should have you back if you would grace these cameras again. She would grace this mic again.
I love being in front of cameras. I am okay with that.
Listen, and you look good. So what's the problem?
Well, thank you.
Okay. And maybe if I put something out and maybe you guys could ask some questions and you could answer them so we could do like a Q&A at the end. What do you think about that?
Sure. That's fine.
So make sure you put your questions and things in the comments. Mm-hmm. And then when we have Breanna back on, then she can answer them specifically for you.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a question.
All right.
Okay. Well, two.
Okay.
Okay. So one, I have a lot of nuggets and great things that I got from this conversation. I hope you guys did too. The one of the main things, obviously, that I got from this is you don't have to be in the place that you're in now. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be because you get something else. Right. You can do what you need to do and get into a different place with what you have now. Yes. Yes. If you manage what you have now, however little you think that is, it can be better. Absolutely. Right. Yes. So in that, Again, you have 10 plus years, decade plus years of experience in this finance.
That sounds like a lot.
It is.
You making me sound old.
Not saying that. Now you went to the old part. I'm thinking you got some good boots on the ground,
That's
in
right.
this.
Boots on the ground. I like that.
You seasoned in the finance space.
Seasoned. I like that. Seasoned.
Yeah. That means you can tell me how to season my stuff.
Come on here.
With finances. Yes, that's right. Okay. Listen, you got to give credit where credit is due. You've been doing this for a long time.
Well, thank you.
You can speak to it.
Right,
right. I mean, now bless your heart. You just started. You might be fresh and things like that, and that's fine. But give me somebody seasoned.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, you've been seeing a couple things.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so in those different things, what is like the common factor that you find that in that they're coming to you, they're trying to get their finances in order or whatever that is. What is it that you see that, man, this is a stumbling block that I see often in a lot of those people?
It's actually, I would say the top two are lack of a written budget and lack of savings. The savings being, I can't even say one is greater than the other, really, because they really kind of go hand in hand. Because, example, I'll get clients to say, well, I was out of work for 6 months. I was out of work for 3 months, 5 months, however many months. And so I got behind on my bills and da-da-da-da-da. So they're using that in their mind. That's the reason why they are behind or where they are or not where they are financially at this point, because I lost my job for 3 months, 5 months. When really, no, the reason that you are where you are financially is because you didn't plan well with what you had. You planned as if the job was going to always be there. And you didn't plan and save properly. So if you had your written budget and you were saving properly, then even if you lost your job for 3 months, you still would have been okay. It would have been like a welcome vacation. So people come in with thinking it's, this is the reason, but all of that roots around lack of budget and lack of savings. Those are the two most common areas that I see that out, because we asked that question in our initial 15-minute consult. We'll say, do you have a written budget? No. Okay. Do you have any money saved? Or if they do have money saved, it's a little bit, it's $1,000. It's, that kind of thing. People that are in that category, I should say. I'm not saying every client, but people in that category, typically the savings is not where it needs to be, and neither is the budget.
Got you. Okay, I have another question.
Okay.
Where can we find you, Breanna?
No, that's an easy one.
If you ain't got nothing from this podcast episode, please call her or somebody on her team or something. Get the help you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, take that first step. If you don't have a budget, let's get to going. You know what I mean?
Let's get to going.
Let's get to going. So tell us where we can find you.
I'm all over social media. It's at the @ I am Breanna Colon. And by the way, that's Breanna. I have to clarify.
Right.
Colon looks like colon, unfortunately, Colon. But I am proud to say I'm married to a Hispanic husband. So
that's right.
It's Colon.
Right.
Okay, it's Breanna
say
Colon.
It right.
So,
Colon. That's right.
So it's @ I am Breanna Colon. And that takes you to all of my social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
All of that. Our website also is www.integrity. F as in Frank, S as in Sam, I as in igloo.com, integrityfsi.com. And there you can see me and the team, and, any one of us are, happy to assist you and answer any questions you may have. We offer free 15-minute consults. So if you just want to call and talk, hey, look, this is what I got going on. Sometimes people call and be like, I need you to help me get my whole life together. I'm like, well, okay then.
Let's see what we can do. Right? Let's go to God, shall we? Because, honey, I can't help you with that. Okay,
right. So, so we do have other financial consultants that are trained to help and work with you and, get you where you need to be financially. In addition to that, we're an insurance brokerage. So we do offer life insurance products as well for those that need that, life insurance, disability, long-term care, etc.
Nice. Awesome. Y'all heard that? I hope y'all wrote it down. Don't worry. I'm going to put it on the screen. Don't worry. I'm going to help you out. Don't worry. Breanna, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This
was
so much for
fun.
coming. It was fun.
It was.
It should be fun.
That's right.
Right?
It's fun to talk about money.
Yeah.
People think it's not, but
no,
it is.
It is. It's real fun. And it's fun when you're watching it too.
Yeah.
That's why you got to call Breanna. Well, that's it. This was great. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for listening, if you're listening too. And I will see y'all in the next episode.
Peace.